Thanks for joining us on another episode of the Coffee Roaster Warm Sessions podcast. In a little bit of a different setting, we're out here at Narrative Coffee in Everett, and joined by actually also two brothers who also work in coffee, which is exciting. With us, we have Nick and Kenji Tanaka. Did I say that right?
Yes.
Awesome. But yeah, this I think there's gonna be a lot that we can talk about. This probably will be a longer episode. I already know. Thinking ahead.
Yeah.
But before we get into it, I don't know. We have some filter coffees brewed up.
Not batch.
So not batchy,
Not
but some
Aiden.
filter coffees. So let's
By
just
the powerful hand of the man, the myth, the legend, Alex Shirota. Cheers, guys.
Are we
Yeah,
cheersing?
let's do that.
Okay.
Let's do that. We rarely get to.
Oh my
Good
God.
stretch.
while we take first sips, shout out to
Nice.
Narrative and Alex and the whole crew here for just letting us host the podcast in here. So
We've done that a
still
couple of times.
think Narrative is probably one of the best cafes in Washington. So if you have not been, you should definitely come stop by.
Show.
They always
Hands
have a
down.
tasty menu of coffees here, but yeah. What do you guys think? How's the coffees tasting?
Oh, the coffee by Alex. Alex, the Big Cheese. The Big Cheese.
Mm-hmm.
Is that his name?
Con queso.
That's his new nickname.
Con queso.
It's because
Yeah, with cheese or-
he wears Crocs that are big and yellow.
Yeah, that's why I said con queso.
Yeah,
Yeah,
con queso.
Alex-
Dang,
with
he's
cheese.
wearing
Yeah.
those right now.
He
Yeah,
is.
it's
Look at
insane.
that.
Dude,
It's
look
insane.
at
That's funny. Delicious as always. Gosh.
that. Okay, I mean, it would
I'm an
probably
espresso
be-
guy.
You
but
are?
Yeah.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. We might have
So
to
I really
unpack
have
that,
batch
but-
or filter.
Well, you probably know this coffee better than any of us.
That's true. I work at Narrative.
Can I put you on the spot?
Sure.
What do you think it is?
I mean, I just think it's honestly, I think it's Belton's Las Garzas, the natural. That's what I
The
think.
natural. It does have a essence to it. Did you try it, Nick?
I did.
Yeah, it does have
Yeah.
a little essence of a natural on it.
Yeah, I mean, I think I've been tasting Veltons for 3 months now. No. I
Oh,
tried.
yeah, I've
it,
just been sending him coffee.
I
Yeah,
see
he's been
that.
sending me Veltons, and I'm a huge fan of them now.
Yeah.
Before I just never heard of them, but I mean,
That's crazy.
I've soaked my, I guess, experience in coffee on the Southern California side.
Oh, okay. Makes sense.
Because that's just where our family is.
Yeah.
And I either taste coffee there or in Houston. And then whenever I travel, I just visit one shop.
I mean, apart from the cafe, we'll get into that. But apart from that, what other roasters are you drinking? Or who are you picking up from LA these days?
I'm picking up Mad Lab.
Okay.
Andrew Sinclair, he's super sick.
Sick.
I love our relationship. I love the compatibility we have when it comes to profiling.
Mm-hmm.
And we've been messing with co-ferments, hot take on that one.
Well, you take
But,
bring the heat already.
crazy.
I'm like, we're just tasting coffee right
That's
now.
crazy.
That's
Dude.
super crazy.
I know. We were at Velton's and he was like, we were at Velton's Roastery yesterday. No, 2 days ago.
2 days ago.
And then he was just like, so how do you feel about co-ferments? And then he dropped that question and I was like, that's crazy. Like off the bat.
I like to challenge people. I think co-ferments is for the people, not for the coffee people.
Not to be fair,
For the
and
people.
The coffee
Yeah.
that I
Yeah.
tasted.
The people that drink our coffee.
Yeah.
That's true.
I had a co-ferment yesterday at home.
So Andrew, the coffees that I tasted from him that are co-ferments are blended with a wash coffee, which is
Yeah.
nice. So it's not
That's
just
what I had yesterday,
Yeah, okay,
yeah.
sweet. Which I don't know. I enjoy the co-ferments that I've had from
Yeah.
Mad Lab, like a lot.
Yeah.
But yeah, we serve up Mad Lab at Cohico, and then
Oh, nice.
we also serve a blend in. They're
Yep.
the roaster that I used to work for
Yeah.
before I opened Cohico.
Yeah.
So there are two main roasters. We brought in a few highlighted roasters. Like we brought in
Veltons,
Veltons
I remember
twice, and then we brought in Common Room 3 times. Common Roasters. They're also based in Costa Mesa.
Nice.
So yeah, it's either from LA or Houston. Maybe I'll bring in Veltons more often. I don't know.
Shit. I mean, he's sending you coffee already. 5-pound bags? No?
I mean, it's easy. I just grab it from the shelf.
That's true.
But yeah, I don't know. I like this coffee right here. If I would assume the same that you were saying. It's probably I've only had that as a Colombian
Yeah.
natural. I've only had it once when I slid by last week, I think. But I had it on espresso. But yeah. If we had to rate Alex's pour over in comparison to the Aiden, Mark, putting you on the spot. He's like completely like, dude, what do I say?
It's great. It's great. How could you say anything against Alex?
You can't.
Yeah.
He
The
pays
boss.
me. I
What?
typically.
He pay, yeah. Well, that's
so-
why I didn't ask you. Like, you know.
Yeah.
So
Sick. But I'm super excited to have you guys on. I'm glad this worked out. You're in town right now for, well, not for, but kind of before Coffee Fest. You're
Yeah,
just visiting, yeah?
I mean,
Yeah,
bro's here
just
for me. Let's
for
be
you.
honest. You
Yeah.
know?
Let's be
Wanted to
honest,
hang
yeah.
out with little bro. I've never
Yeah.
been here.
Oh.
So it's my first time
I'm
like in
surprised.
Seattle or
Okay.
Everett,
Well, Washington.
Washington. Well, yeah,
You've never been to Washington.
yeah. Never been to Washington.
No.
This is my first time.
Well, what'd you guys do this like last? You've been here for 2 days. Did you guys do anything outside of coffee, of course? But
I tried Dick's.
nice.
I tried Dick's.
Yeah, first
He's
time.
an In-N-Out
In-
guy.
I was gonna say which In-N-Out or Dick's.
In and out.
Dude,
Oh,
I
gotcha.
Hands
the-
down.
The thing is,
Yeah.
there's a time and a place, and we went to Roquette,
Okay,
and
that's a
then
good
went to
spot.
Dick's,
Yeah.
and I'm like, if I'm drinking, I don't want to go into a place that is so bright like In-N-Out. I don't know.
No.
We've had a whole
But
debate on
Did
this.
you guys go to the new one in Everett?
No,
No.
because we
and-
went on the one on 45th.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Yeah,
I was wondering about the new one in Everett. I was gonna ask you guys. if
it's
you-
been popping.
Yeah.
It's actually
looks
very
like it.
popular.
Yeah.
There's always what.
I mean, it's popular here for sure. I mean,
He's
both
like,
times
but it's
we
not In-N-Out.
both times we went. I mean, there's lines
Dude,
out.
he
Mark,
told-
did you go to
dude,
In-N-Out
no,
like
at the kiosk.
recently? No.
Bro, Sergi, he told me that he is such a fan of In-N-Out that he would eat it at 10 a.m. And I said that is the
I would eat it
most
at 10 a.m.
diabolical
Dude.
like
thing I've
right
ever
when it
heard.
opens.
You're nuts, dude.
2 double doubles. Yeah.
It is sickening and
You
diabolical.
probably love In-N-Out as much as Josh back there loves Whataburger.
Oh yeah, we talked about it yesterday.
That's so good.
Yeah, we talked about it
I'm
yesterday.
glad I brought that up.
No hate to Whataburger. It's just if I have either down the street, I'm going In and Out, hands down. Yeah.
Well, you just set the tone for personality for who you are. With all of that said, if you have 60 seconds
Okay.
to kind of give yourself an intro,
Okay.
what would you say?
Of me, yeah.
You.
Well, like Mark mentioned, my name is Nicolas Tanaka. I start with that because having the last name Tanaka means something, means a lot. Means a lot to me as a character. I am very hardworking, borderline workaholic.
Mm-hmm.
I love to have fun. I love to take risks. And I love coffee, but I started with creativity. So I was a creator. Stepped into the left side of my brain, me also being left-handed. I wanted to become an artist, whether that was music, photography, filmmaking, directing, sound. And that creativity led me to coffee.
Nice.
So that's how I was able to open Kohiko just this last year.
Yeah. My first memory of you, and I was just sharing before the pod, is Alex and I are flying to one of my early days in Coffee Fest. I think it was the first one I actually submitted to and got in. And we're flying to New York, and I'm like going through the roster of people on the bracket, and last name Tanaka pops up, and I'm like, Alex, tell me about these guys. And Alex like, dude, I don't know. He's like, I don't know what they got, but it's like they've got some superpower. They're like naturally talented, like insane competitors. And he's like, yep, yeah, either Kenji or if Nick is going to be there, they're going to win it. And
That's
I was like,
crazy.
wait, what? Who are these? And I don't think I was even following you on Instagram, Kenji. So I was like, okay, I got to meet these guys. And ran into you, Coffee Fest, before I even, I think, talked to you, Kenji. And you said something that to this day I was actually talking to Maddie, and I was telling her, I was like, dude, I still remember the day that Nick approached me and was like, dude, you're just like bringing fashion to and style back to Coffee Fest. He's like, dude, so sick. And I was like, just hit so much. So like your compliment and that little word that you kind of deposited in me was like probably more powerful than any championship that I've seen you guys win. So
Yeah, I wouldn't say I'm like the most spoken person. Like
Mhm.
I'm not a yapper per se. But I if I do have something on my mind, I'll say it.
Yeah.
And
So-
I think that is a big part of my personality, or my character, sorry.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, another part of being in the industry is also like making those subtle connections that grow into something bigger
sure.
later on.
Yeah.
You know, whether it's like you're gifting a barista coffee bag from your roaster, like
Yeah.
what you're doing
Yeah.
in LA. I think it's kind of cool.
Yeah. Very much
And
so.
I think it's very interesting how we met, and eventually, like, I think it was only a year later that Ken moved here.
Right. Yep.
Um,
Maybe a
2
little
years.
more.
It was 2
2
years.
years.
It was
Yeah.
2 years.
It was
Yeah.
a year later when I visited you
Yeah.
guys, the whole squad up in Houston, and
Yeah, and then
We had
that's
coffee,
how
yeah.
we reconnect, which is
yeah,
crazy.
it was
Yeah.
crazy. And then we were talking about all things like photography, video, like, you know, using social media to grow your business. We were talking about
Yeah.
that, and then we talked about your car for like a good 15, 20 minutes. Like,
I
we
do
just
like cars.
just got
Yeah.
into it, and I feel like that was cool because, again, coffee seemed to be the platform that we got to know each
Yeah.
other,
Yeah.
but we kind of like started to get to know each other outside of the trade that we're in, but
Yeah.
just fun stuff that we share.
Dude, I've made so many friends through coffee. That's just reminding me.
Yeah.
Justin Chow, who's also been
Oh,
on
yeah.
your podcast.
Yeah.
I remember I posted, because there was a point where I just was like Emily Bryant. I was learning a lot from Emily Bryant, and I was I think the two YouTubers that I knew at the time when I first started coffee was Emily Bryant and then Lance.
Yeah.
And I would always like watch the videos, and then I started posting reels. I remember I got my tripod, and I was so excited. I remember I was talking with Haley Henderson about you got. I mean, you know Haley.
Yeah.
Haley Henderson. She got a tripod. She started posting reels. I started posting reels, and then I just started like posting a bunch of stuff on my coffee Instagram or my Instagram that became all coffee. But the past like 2 years, or like honestly, it took about like a year and a half of posting just coffee that I was like open to like be like, oh, this is also what I do. And I posted that I played video games.
Yep.
And I remember Justin had hit me up in the DMs. He said, hey, do you want to play Valorant? A PC game.
Yeah.
And we literally just became friends through playing video games.
Oh yeah.
And then going to Coffee Fest. And then he would have dinner with my family. And then one day, I think it was 2023, December. I think his birthday is December 12th or something like that. December 12th, he pulls up and flies. He like chose to like, okay, for my birthday, I'm going to fly over
I remember that.
to meet one of my coffee friends who
Yeah.
became like a real friend. And then it's just hilarious because
Yeah.
you say that, but now I have a bunch of friends that I know and play video games with. And now I have a bunch of people who are like I've gotten into Pokemon recently.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was just gonna bring that up.
And now I've been making friends with like that connection too.
Yeah.
Where like we can always kind of like connect back on coffee, but like branch out to other interests, which I've been a huge advocate on because I've heard so many people that will go to coffee fests like competitors, and competitors will go to these events and they'll sometimes bring their partner or their family. And my family has been fortunate enough to where people know my dad as Papa Tanaka.
Yeah.
Right. And some people talk to my sister more than they do talk to me. Right. But
Low-key.
I know a lot of
Low-key.
people will compete and they'll have a partner with them. And if you're not in the industry, the conversation doesn't get extended to you, which has
Yeah.
been a frustration on my part. I've heard a lot of stories where people, their wives or husbands or, you know, whatever, will stop going to Coffee Fest or stop going to competitions because it's just all about coffee. And I get that. We're all passionate. But
Yeah.
at the end of the day, this is not everything.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No. I mean, that's
Before we go in there, because we're going head deep, I just want to circle us back to, I mean, just because people probably don't know both of you guys. Nick, tell me a little bit about some of the work that you're doing and you have done, what you've done in coffee, and then Kenji.
Yo,
I know you went right into it.
No, I kind of
We-
just cut in.
Yeah, no, that's good. That's
I have
great.
ADHD, so like if I have
That's
a thought,
okay.
I just say
That's
it.
no, that's great. No, some of the stuff you said is great. I'm like, man, we can go down this rabbit hole, but I just want to give at least the listeners so then they know like who you guys are because you guys have done some really cool stuff in coffee. I kind of just want them to know who you guys are. So tell me a little bit about kind of what you've started, what you've launched, and kind of a little bit of your coffee background. And
The
then
origin?
Kenji, you should just jump in and share a little bit about yourself and your experience in
I
coffee
can give
as
that
well.
proper send off. I mean,
I love that.
Here's the thing. I started coffee in 2017. Before that, practically when I turned 16, I wanted to work at a coffee shop, specifically at the one in my church. It's a church called Ecclesia, and they had a coffee shop in the church called Paper Co. I think Ken just probably remembered this.
No, yeah, I remember.
But
that.
I wanted to work there for
That's
the
crazy.
longest time. Like, I wanted to be a barista. I wanted to like serve my community, and it's a familiar story for a lot of people. But yeah, Paper Co. Coffee Company, applied there 4 times, never hired me. Never hired me, but I never quit until I got a job at Blending Coffee Club in 2017. They opened November of that year.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I got hired in January.
Oh, nice.
And yeah, I mean, I thought it was the coolest shop ever. It was the first shop that was like truly exposing me to that specialty world.
Mm-hmm.
And they were a shop that was pretty controversial in the beginning, just because they were strictly serving pour overs, siphons, AeroPresses, French presses. Like, they had 9 different brews on bar, right? And we had like minimal syrups too. Like, it was just like the typical vanilla
makes sense.
caramels.
What year? Sorry, what year was that?
2017, yeah.
That sounds about right. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's the
yeah.
Era of that,
I didn't get into competition until 2019.
Mm-hmm.
My first competition was in Indianapolis Coffee Fest. I remember Alex Scrotta being there. I actually remember him beating me like my first ever round. I could be wrong.
He has said that is wrong.
Okay.
Okay, I was about to fact check him.
No, fact check me.
No, I don't think he said that he never competed against you.
Okay, so it must have been someone else.
He was there.
Yeah. My first Coffee Fest, like, I got knocked out first round. It was like the start of my vengeance era, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I was like, I'm never gonna go up on that stage and feel like that ever again. You know.
Yeah.
Fast forward, COVID happened. I'm not sure if we can even still talk about it, but like, that's when I got practically laid off, and I was pretty butthurt, but at the same time, it was the same year I graduated from college, so that's kind of where my marketing career started.
Mm-hmm.
Picked up, worked for Alphalete for 4 or 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
And then towards the end of my last year of working there, I decided, hey, I'm going to open Kohiko with my sister.
Nice.
And my sister just finished her MBA at Rice.
Oh,
So
nice.
she was just getting into like
Gotcha.
the fundamental, I guess, like foundation for operating, building, creating business model, creating a business plan, building a pro forma, and all that stuff was fairly new to me.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a learning curve for both of us.
Yeah.
I mean, still to this day, she's kind of learning the ins and outs of the industry.
Yeah.
And this is an industry where you do have to be pretty involved in the community in order to make it, in my opinion. I mean, you can't open a coffee shop and be like, no, every other shop, screw off, like, I'm doing my own thing. It's not how it works.
Mm-mm.
It's a very collaborative, supportive community that you should be able to reach out to other shops and support each other. But that's kind of like the start and end of my coffee journey.
You're also a Q grader, right?
I am a Q grader. So a big part of Blendin was their SCA and their AST training. Wei Hongzhang, he was like my owner, and he was also the one that kind of put AST down on me, put me through foundation all the way through professional. I don't even know if I have the certificate still. They're
I lost all
probably
mine.
guaranteed like expired, to be honest.
Mine too.
Yeah. But that was my introduction to specialty coffee. SCA was like everything I lived and breathed. The Q graders was actually something I never wanted to partake in, but Wei Hong, he was pretty confident in my palate, and he knew what I was capable of, which I appreciate every day to this day.
It's a big accomplishment for sure.
Yeah, I mean, it was a very intense training. It was like 4 days of just strictly tasting coffee from 8 to 5 p.m.
Dang.
And man, it definitely opened my eyes a lot on what was capable, what was current, what had happened, regionally, all that stuff. What?
Kenji's reactions
No,
back
nothing.
there is like,
Nothing.
I mean, CQI is like crazy. I mean, especially in the past,
yeah,
4 months
yeah,
when they just announced
Changed,
that,
yeah.
they're officially merging with SCA, which is a big reason why I kind of don't even want to renew it.
okay,
I mean,
That's fair, yeah.
it's still active, but
Yeah.
like I was supposed to recalibrate this year.
gotcha.
And I don't know if that's going to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's a whole nother, I think, gambit of a conversation. But I think there is value in that accomplishment. And it comes down to, one, the effort that you put in
Yeah.
and the growth that you've experienced in getting that. There's value in that. The certificate, that's its own drama. It's its own thing. But the work you put in, like, I think it deserves recognition.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kenji? Tell us.
Wait, what am I supposed to be answering?
9D, give us a 60-second snapshot, who you are, what you do, why you're here.
Why I'm here?
Mine was not 60 seconds.
That was like
Yeah.
Yeah.
that was not 60 seconds. Kenji Tanaka, I guess. What do you? I don't even know what you said. So I am a barista at Narrative Coffee in Everett, Washington. I am currently the barista lead here, so that's cool. So I can have a little bit more say in things, I guess. I don't know. I
That's pretty much
forgot.
it.
I forgot what you said. That's pretty much it.
There's
Yeah,
a
that's pretty
lot
much
you
it.
can say. One, you're world latte art champion. You
Yeah,
have a
okay.
lot of competition
that's true.
stuff. That's one.
I have
Do
accomplished.
you want me to do your 60-second
something-
intro for
yeah,
you?
I think
I'm,
you should,
I'm
actually.
a 3-time World Latte Art Championship in Coffee Fest because
Yeah,
apparently Coffee Fest World Latte Art Championship is not a world championship to some people. But
I think we should get into that.
yeah, I mean, I'm a perspective guy, so I can get both
Mhm.
both points. But yeah, I've won that. If I'm gonna take more than 60 seconds in order to say this,
Okay,
I
fine.
guess.
Yeah.
But Coffee Fest was a big part of competing because essentially what Nick said is very important to why I'm in coffee. Everything that Nick just said with blending, getting his Q-Gator, tasting all this coffee. Blending was my first specialty coffee shop experience. I've always loved coffee ever since 16 because I grew up going to Denny's
Nice.
right before like high school.
Yeah.
And ever since I got a car, it was my coffee. And then I moved to Starbucks. And then I was working as a server for like 3 years. And at that time, at the end of my server life, I get a family group text that you're going to Brazil. Remember
I
that?
totally forgot about that.
Yeah, he forgot to go that. But his
Yeah.
company paid for his, they paid for it, right?
Yeah, it was a fully expensed
Yeah,
trip,
it was a fully expensed trip to Brazil to go to these farms.
Yeah.
And I see, at the time, he was a creative, so he's sending all these crazy photos of Brazil with Josh Bates. I don't know, can I say names? With his buddy Josh Bates and his coworker, and I would say really good friend, that he's going to Brazil. And I'm over here, taking orders at this, it's called Pluckers in Texas. It's a wing bar. And I remember I was so frustrated with that job, and I was getting all this new information that he was doing all this cool stuff with coffee, that I asked him to join or like sit in my section. I was like, dude, it's been so slow the past week. I'm making no money as a server. Can you come visit me at work? I don't know if you remember this.
I think I do remember this.
But you sat in my section, and he was on his computer
It was. Yeah, I
because he was
remember.
working like 2 jobs. Or no, he was going to school and working at Blendon, like he said. And I told him, I said, dude, I want to get into specialty coffee because I'm not making any money as a server because I'm getting like 1 table per hour because I was forced to be put on like the morning shift at a bar. So it was super frustrating.
Yeah.
He told me to go to Houston Coffee Collective. And if you go to Houston Coffee Collective, I don't know if this is still a thing, but there's
It
a
is.
job listing
Oh,
for
that's
Houston
really
Coffee
cool.
Collective
Yeah.
for all the coffee shops that are hiring in the greater Houston area. I applied to all of them. This is hilarious. I'm not making this up. I got rejected by every single coffee shop that I've applied to because basically I also applied to coffee shops in Austin, Texas. Got rejected by all of them.
Gotcha.
All the coffee shops in Houston and Sugarland. I had no experience. The one person that hired me in my interview ended up telling me that they were confident in me because I had the last name Tanaka because I was his brother. I'm not even joking.
I did not hear about that.
Do you remember? I'm going to say the name, but Brian
from Blockhouse?
Brian from
Wow.
Blockhouse, who
Okay.
would
Yeah.
the owners of the coffee shop, the first coffee shop that I went to,
Yeah.
would visit him, and they would get drinks by him, and so
Did not know that.
they just were
That's
like,
crazy.
"Oh yeah,
That's crazy.
we know your brother, so we
Yeah.
basically." It
Yeah.
felt to me, I'm not saying that this was in their intentions, but it felt to me like, oh, we know your brother, so we know that you're going to be kind of similar in that
You're
range. You're welcome.
Yeah.
For also caring, whatever.
I mean, there's good and bad things in that, right? One, it sets you up within the like we talked about in the beginning, the context of what the Tanaka name means, which is awesome. Like that's powerful. But the other thing, it's almost like puts you in this shadow of like, oh, they chose me because of Nick.
Well, so growing
that
up,
shadow's gone.
well,
that shadow's
shadow's
long
gone
We'll
now.
unpack
dude.
that, right?
And we
That's
won't.
what I'm setting
Long
you up for.
gone.
Yeah.
I'm gonna ask Nick one question. What was my nickname in high school or middle school?
Lil Tanaka.
Lil Tanaka. In high
Lil.
school and in middle school, everyone would see me in the hallways and they'd be like, "What's up, Lil Tanaka?" And so I was always called Lil Tanaka. And so the reason why, like me growing up in coffee, like this is like my adult life. I'm no longer in school. This is where I'm like, dude, I could like put in mad work and be better than this dude. That's a lot of the, like, I would say, a lot of like my improvements came from trying to prove myself that I am not just Little Tanaka. Like I am Kenji Tanaka. That's who I am. And I remember when I got my first job, I was like, listen, I really want to improve your coffee program.
Yeah.
Can I just show up at like 5? I know I'm scheduled at 6. Can I show up at 5? Take my time with dialing in. I wasn't making I wasn't even making good coffee, but I wanted to learn because I was like, everyone was telling me it'll just take time. You just got to try more coffee. Some people would be like, you just got to try coffee until you feel sick and feel nauseous. You got to keep trying. And so that's what I did. And I keep name dropping because I always like to give credit. Abram Nilsson,
Great kid.
a barista who was inspired by you to work at Blended.
Great kid.
He was the replacement for Nick. When Nick left, I'm pretty sure Abram got hired right after you. But Abram would come to the shop that I was working with, spend 6 hours. I was dropping because I was living with my parents. I was dropping I was messaging a roaster, a company called Boomtown in Houston. The roaster Dean, I think it was. I was messaging him for like 60. Not like 5 pounds a week. I don't know how much a month. We were just like practicing Latte, Abram and I, Blockhouse until like 10 to 11 p.m. And it was genuinely all because Nick was going to San Antonio Coffee Fest in July, and I was like, I'm gonna get into that thing. Yeah, I'm gonna compete just because like it was something that I could say like, oh, if I beat him, then I'm better than him at this. It's like not like subjective. It's like I beat this dude.
Almost like you're building your own name as a Tanaka.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is awesome. Yeah. But then going back to you, Nick, you've obviously have inspired and influenced Kenji. I want as a brother, but also as a coffee professional, and as a like an industry. I would call you guys industry leaders and industry influencers in what you guys do. Let's take the word influencer and put it in the context of you guys are leaders in the industry. Yeah. With that said, I think a lot of people listening to this or hearing your guys' story would say, you guys, dang, they've made it. And there's that context of like, oh, you've made it kind of thing. So can you, within that context, Nick, give me one pivotal moment that actually got you into like this journey of you've made it, like that switch that happens?
Do you know what it is?
No, I'm just curious.
That's a great question. It's a great question. To feel like I made it, I mean, I don't think I have made it yet. Yeah, I don't. I really don't.
Yeah.
I think with the current success that I've built so far is 100% behind my family. It's behind my fiance. It's behind my friends. the people around me that allow me to put the work in. Because you just have to put a lot of time.
Yeah.
If we're talking about latte art specifically, man, there's just so many good people out there. It's hard to tell like who is the best of the best. But what does matter is what's on that stage, and I think that's where I really find the most success is on the stage.
Yeah.
When I'm at the shop or whatever, it's really like second thought. But yeah, I am all about kind of overcoming that anxiety or overcoming that worry of who's gonna care if you made it or not.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if that answered it.
No,
but
that does. That also brings up one other thing. Like we'll get to competition. We'll talk in general about that. But just hearing you say that makes me also think like, what, as a competitor and also as someone who you guys are problem solvers, because when you're prepping for competition, you're resolving challenges that you're gonna encounter on the stage, right?
Yeah.
And the stage is a big deal. Would you also then take that experience as prepping for comp, and that's not everybody gets to experience that. Out of like a ton of cafe owners, not every single coffee shop owner is going to be a world champion, right? But the concept of problem solving to get ready for competition, to get ready for the stage, can be related to as the problem solving when it comes to the stage of your cafe. When you get up in the morning, get into the shop, have to unplug drains, have to do the quote unquote dirty work of a cafe owner, that's a different stage, but it also requires problem solving. So what are some things that you've learned? One, I know you didn't have an easy road open up Kohiko. It was not easy.
Yeah.
But what were some things that, one, you overcame? And if someone is listening who's maybe in the rut of opening up a coffee shop or wants to open up a coffee shop, what is one thing that you can get from that pivotal moment and give to them?
First off, I haven't said this yet, but opening Kohiko was and is currently the biggest blessing I've ever received. I've ever received from God. I think having that place holds a different value for me. Not that it's a successful business, but it's something that's allowing me to take care of my friends. It's allowing me to take care of my staff. It's allowing me to take care of my sister and me and eventually him, hopefully. You know, it's like that's the biggest blessing. And I think that's what also is currently lighting that fire in me. Because I like that you did compare it to a stage. It is something like that because I mean it's a public business, and you know you are a public face when it comes to owning a coffee shop. And the hardest part was definitely showing up and hoping that things are going to go right all the time. My first month of opening the shop was absolute hell. Water pipes breaking, you know, drywall breaking down, paint not going the right way, staff not showing up, training going wrong, orders not coming through, like everything.
Sounds like an episode of The Bear.
Absolute terrible. I mean, there was one day where I was actually just sitting in my patio and suddenly the water filter just starts blasting water across the kitchen, and we had a full line. Like it was insane. And I mean, showing up and being there every day and learning about your business and being open to shutting down your walls and just allowing yourself to experience these, you know, problems and learning how to be a solver, learning how to be, responsible for everything that goes in to the shop. That's what really matters. I mean, it may not feel like it's going to work out, but it always eventually does. The world always gets smaller when you're always focusing on one thing. And I think that's my biggest learning curve since opening the shop, and that is what does make me feel successful, is being able to cover that ground when it comes to opening the shop and operating it.
Yeah, for sure. Kenji, going to you
Yes.
now. You hear all that, you witness that, you experience all of the hard work, whether it's like on the stage, like competition stage, or off the stage that Nick has experienced. When you are approaching competition, what are you gleaning from those concepts that Nick just shared, and how are you then executing or putting in the work? Because like, to be a world champion, you have to win some championships, and it doesn't just come by, one day you show up and you sweep the floor and you get a trophy. It comes by putting in the work, and I've seen you put in the work, and I've seen you put in the work. So when it comes to you executing at that level, what does the behind the scenes stuff look like?
Okay, well, before I get into that, because I think in order for me to get into that, I need to touch base on what he said.
Of course, yeah.
Because you asked him when does he feel like he's made it, and that's been on my mind for the past like 5 minutes.
Same. Because it's a great question, trust me. But
but hear me out.
I guarantee he thinks the same thing. I don't think
I
we've made
disagree.
it.
Actually, no, I actually disagree.
Okay, I'll get into
Because
it.
I think so let's talk about this, and I think what that question has to do with, and how what I'm about to say relates to prepping for competition, is intentionality and thoughtfulness, which I've been really, really like that
Preaching.
ideology has been like hammered in my brain working in Houston. And I think you feeling like you haven't made it, totally valid. I hear that. I understand that. I think that when you say that you are providing for your fiance, my soon-to-be sister-in-law, and you are like giving people jobs and giving people like a healthy work environment, that to me, if I was in that position, I would say that I've made it. I feel like I really made it. Like, I genuinely feel like when you asked that question, I was like, oh, I feel like I can kind of like
For sure.
put a timeline on that. And that's when people in the cafe started to look to me and have these conversations and like trust me and like put trust in me to get things done. And I think that relationship the relationship that I build around the cafe, when they're genuine and like, I don't know. I feel like, to me as a brother, what? How many miles are we from Houston? Too many. I'm very far from my brothers. So when I see stuff online and when I see stuff in the family group chat, I say that, okay, I would say that my brother's made it because he's providing for people and he's like giving like a healthy work environment. And if I had to keep him in check, I will, like, as far as like, hey, like make sure
on
that
a
you're
different stage.
make sure you're taking care of the people that are working for you, and make sure that you are working with them on making sure that you give them a space and an environment to like grow, whether it's inside or outside of coffee. I've recently been having conversations with people, making sure that this is a safe environment where we can communicate. I think communication is a big, a really good green flag for me in a work environment. And I feel really good about where I'm at in the coffee industry. I've kind of like dropped this back of my mind kind of like fear of my presence online. I have ADHD. I can go on about this forever. Your question was about competition, and going back to intentionality and thoughtfulness. I think if you're intentional with the verbiage that you use, I used to really beat myself down when competing. And I think there's 2 phases of me competing. Probably like the first 9 competitions, and then the last like 6 for me now. I've competed in 15 coffee fests. And I've competed in 15 coffee fests, have 7 trophies. So I have a pretty good track record as far as like going home with a trophy. When I first was into the scene, it was very much so intentional, but it was a very harsh intentional. One that was making me a good competitor, but not necessarily the best human being that I could be. I think that my process that I have now is really heavily focused on how can I be the best person and human being that I can be to the people around me, and that will then allow me to be a great competitor.
Yeah.
I think recently I've been learning how to compartmentalize a lot better, and that means that if I play hard, I rest hard. If I'm at narrative, I'm like trying to give it my full 100% behind the bar. But that means when I clock off, that the friends and family that I'm going to be with, I'm going to give them my 100% outside of work. That means I can come into practice and give my 100% during practice and not worry about anything else that I listed before. And I think that as long as I think you should be careful if you're prepping for competition on what route you want to take when you're being intentional and thoughtful, because you can kind of, like I said, like I was being intentional and thoughtful as far as a competitor goes. But I think that when you're just a competitor, you're just a competitor. In Coffee Fest, you only have 3-4 competitions a year, right? But I'm a human being every day, right? So that's where I want to be thoughtful and intentional, where I can make an impact to every single person that I, interact with. So if I'm going to be honest and transparent, when I was competing, it was making lists and making sure that, and because I just want to be transparent and honest with what I used to do, which was I would make a list of, I would say, let's say the bracket comes out a month before competition. I would say, okay, 2 weeks, I'm going to set a certain days for certain goals, right? Let's say the week before I go to competition, I have 3 practice days, and the week before that, I have 3 practice days. I would typically say, okay, day 1 and day 2, let's just pour. Figure out what design is like really calling me, right? Focus on the details, focus on why a tulip looks the way it does, and how to make it that consistently. If I did a Rosetta, I would say, okay, I really want an infused heart, and that's the detail that I'm going to focus on for the next 2.5-3 weeks. If it's a Tuletta, then I want to focus on the separation between the tulip base and the Rosetta pullback, right? I think every design that I picked back then was, okay, let me find a detail that I'm just obsessed with, that I'm not seeing a lot in the competition scene, and I just want to obsess over that specific detail. It doesn't have to be it does not have to be the design entirely, but I want to find a detail that I could obsess over, and just, if I don't nail that one detail, I'm beating myself up. That's what I would typically do. Day 1, day 2. Day 3 and day 4, I would do, and this is back when I was like obsessed over Coffee Fest. I'm talking that when the bracket would come out, I would look up every single person's Instagram. I would just figure out what design they're pouring. I would figure out, like, I would watch like VODs on like the ESOM throwdowns, and I would see, who's shaky, who's not, what I should do, and I would get really psychotic about it. I'm not really super proud of it, but I mean, that's how I got some championships, and that's just the honest answer. But for day 3 and day 4 out of the 6, that's typically when I would do time trials, because I think muscle memory is very important, right? The useless movements, the ones that don't matter, are the ones that I should be fast at, right? Because at the end of the day, we're not tasting the coffee, and I think even though everyone that I think is competing is very prideful of their work, and if I go to their cafe, I'm sure that they're going to be very intentional as far as giving me like a well extracted shot or a well brewed filter. I'm sure that is 100% the case. I think when you are competing for a latte art competition, you have to realize that, hey, some things aren't going to be perfect. Just tamp the coffee, just start the shot. It doesn't need to be a perfect extraction. It's latte art, right? So being fast with pouring my milk in the pitcher, being fast with tamping, the second I put that portafilter, I'm starting that shot. I don't want to put my cup under, right? Because we all know espresso's not going to be falling out for another couple seconds. I got it. And I think when I was prepping prior to me getting a championship, I was timing myself and doing time trials and saying, okay, where can I find pockets of or pockets in my routine that don't necessarily need to be there, right? and that would be my day 3, day 4. And then once I've got my design for day 1 and day 2, and once I got the muscle memory for day 3 and day 4, then day 5 and day 6 was just repetition. I was just going to the shop and doing that design over and over and over again to really nail in that muscle memory. Now, again, back then, I don't do this anymore, I was psychotic. I was playing video games, and I was literally in my room, I was pretending like I had a portafilter in my hand and a milk jug in my right hand, and I can't do it because I got a big mic in my hand. But I would sit there, and every time I die in the video game, I would sit there and I'd be like, okay, 3, 2, 1, and I would like I would practice the motions, practice the movements. So it's just so in like it is drilled in my brain of where my arms need to be, where my hands need to be. I would sit there, and if I was taking a shower, I would sit there, pretend, and I would step to the right because I'm like, okay, I got to move to the right on the competition stage. I mean, I was very like getting like really, really into it. Now, that is for sure the way that I got my first probably like 4 trophies. I know that has been a toll and has put a tax on my mental. Of like, I am a competitor, right? Recently, I've been like, I don't care to be a competitor. I want to be known for me and who I am. To a degree, some of that, like, back of the head thoughts came from, like, me getting, I can curse on this, right? A lot of shit. I got a lot of shit, as a competitor. I mean, people have said that I don't compete right. People have said that I'm not a good competitor. People say that, I've gotten messages where people have apologized, which, by the way, is crazy. They've apologized for being like, hey, by the way, you're really cool. I thought you were a dick because other people said so. And that's the case. I stopped caring about, like, destroying people in comp. That was, like, my goal, if I'm being honest. To being more so of, like, I just want to be a good person and good human being to the people around me in the cafe, because those are the people that I see every day, and those are the relationships that matter. So I'm very careful with how I train and being very kind to myself, giving myself grace, and understanding that, hey, I am still preparing, right? I think that when you're competing, preparation is super important. And being confident in your ability to perform, like giving that self-affirmation to be like, hey, listen, I am putting in the work. I am coming to the shop at 6 a.m. or 6 p.m. after a really long day, and I'm here, and I'm doing the best that I can. And as long as I'm talking to myself, like, positively, that helps me be on the stage present, and also be present to the people around me when I am competing. Right. So
what I'm hearing you say is you're tying hard work, you're tying together execution, you're tying together the practical things that you need to do, like steaming good milk, making sure your shots are there, your micro movements, all of the very practical things. You're tying those things together with the quote unquote more meta things, like being present, like experiencing presence, not only as a competitor, but experiencing presence as Kenji Tanaka, and experiencing that presence, whether you're behind bar at Narrative, whether you're, at home playing video games, whether we're hanging out, whether you're on stage, experiencing the same amount of presence or the degree of presence, and then taking all of your hard skills, all of the execution stuff, and tying it into that presence. So you're an excellent competitor. You put in the hard work. You see that. What you described is, I feel that, I know that, you've nailed that, and you're building yourself up more than just someone who's a robot who can pour fantastic latte art, but you're building yourself up as a holistic human who is also present for every conversation outside of the stage. And that truly, folks, if people are listening and like, okay, how do I become a competitor like, Kenji? You have to tie the two together to be a world champion. You can't just separate one from the other. You have to be present as a human to yourself. You have to be present as a human at work. And then you have to be present to all of the hard execution practices off the clock to get the thing that you're aiming for at comp. And to me, that's like, I hope that if anyone comes across this podcast because they know your guys' names, I hope the takeaway that they're getting from both of your guys' stories, and there's a few more things we can touch on, but both of your guys' stories and things that you've communicated right now is the degree of presence that you guys carry, but also you guys don't shy away from putting in the hard work. Whether it's opening up a cafe, whether it's training for competition, whether it's, going to Coffee Fest LA this week, you know what I mean? You guys aren't shy from the hard work, but you're tying that in with this very deep essence of presence, which I absolutely love.
Thank you. Yeah, I appreciate that.
My other thing is, like, I'm just always curious, one, talking to business owners, talking to people who are industry leaders. I'm always curious about, yes, there are things that we post about on Instagram. Yes, there are things that people see day to day. But as we wrap this thing up, like, what are some small things? You've already touched a little bit on that. So, Nick, to hear from you, what are some small practices that are day-to-day things that make a great cafe owner and a great world champion?
I think I've learned or practiced this the most recently, but it's not always great to lead. It's always also good to watch or to learn, to follow. I was always a little stuck up, for sure. Like, I always want things to go my way. And a part of being a barista turned into a cafe owner, we have things that we demand, right?
Yeah.
Like, we need an EK43 behind the bar. No, nothing else, right? Or we need a Curtis brewer. Absolutely need one. None of those, like, third brand ones. There's non-negotiables that I have. And sorry, circling back, I don't want to get too tangent, but essentially, like, learning to step back and learning to open your mind to others is a huge advantage when it comes to operating a business, starting a business. And I'm a little bit of a weird situation because my business partner is my sister.
Yeah.
And I'm sure a lot of people can learn what it takes to start a business with family. You just have to have that respect. You have to have that respect with anyone, with your dishwasher, right, or with your back of house employees, with your front of house employees, with your bar leads. Like, you have to have respect for all of them because they're the ones that are the pioneers. They're the ones driving the ship. I give them the ship, but they're the ones that are driving it. And I think there's tons to learn from other people's minds, perspectives, and experiences. And that's probably the biggest lesson I've had this past year, or 12 months. 13 months, sorry.
Yeah, totally feel that. I'm rereading Simon Sinek's book, Something Why, where he talks about, like, for every why leader, there needs to be the how people. And when leaders are just how leaders, they usually sink the ship. But why leaders with how people are champions.
Okay, so this is
I learned from him.
This is a brothers. This is a brothers podcast. And the crazy part is, I don't know if I know this conversation Dad had with me. All that you're saying has been something I've been saying for so long because my dad has told me this when I was little. I don't know if he told you this, and I'll put into simple words. My dad and I were always butting heads when you and I were living together. He just said this: listen to understand, do not listen to react. And when you start to have that in your brain, and when you're having conversations with people, and you say, because a lot of people, they're not attacking you, they're not coming for your throat. Just listen for the sole purpose to understand what they are saying and where they are coming from. And you will gain a lot of perspective from everyone that you talk with, and each conversation is just a little blessing every single day. Listen to understand. Do not listen to react.
100%.
I mean, I'll say it first. We've had great parents.
Yo, fire parents.
I mean,
Fire
I love
parents.
your
I mean,
parents. Your parents
no.
are awesome.
I mean, not many
Super
people.
fortunate.
I
not
made
many
your mom a
people-
drink. What was it, a couple of weeks ago?
yeah,
Here, and she like came back and literally thanked me for the drink.
No,
Yeah.
yeah.
Like
they-
one-on-one. Like
I mean, our parents are
insane.
divorced. You know, not many people know that
Yeah.
they're divorced, but they act like great co-parents. And despite them being divorced, they've shown us and our sister the best way
Yeah.
to love, to understand, to fight,
Yeah.
to, you know, be present. Like they've taught us the best. And,
Yeah.
you know, as dysfunctional as we may seem, our family is, like, we definitely fight for each other.
Yeah.
To get a little
I see
sappy.
that.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I see your dad showing up, Papa Tanaka, you know, big shout out. Like I see him
Yeah.
showing up,
Oh, dude, that
spending
dude.
time with me.
No, when we
No,
say
no, no.
show up,
No.
like, we literally
No, no,
say
no.
show up. Like,
Wait,
we
yeah,
have
say
not
it.
just
Say it, I dare
physically.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This dude, talk about presence. Fun fact about our dad is our dad every Wednesday from kindergarten to 12th grade has sat down with us for lunch in school. Like,
Yeah.
he is the only dad that I know that has done that. Growing up, talk about presence, he was there all the time.
Yeah.
Honestly, that's probably where we
that's
get it from.
inspiring to me. I mean, again, big shout out to your guys' dad, but that's inspiring to me as, you know, as a dad.
Yeah.
And like Monday having to work with Rain, like it gets chaotic. I'm like doing business meetings and trying to, you know, seal the deal with the owner, and I'm holding Rain in my arm and trying to do the whole thing. So I totally get it. So that's inspiring that it's possible just to see you guys. But dude, I bet we can pull a Joe Rogan podcast and just keep talking forever and ever and ever. But this
Yeah.
is not the Joe Rogan podcast all day. No. So with all of that said, you guys, again, thank you so much. Final few things. Any hot takes about Coffee Fest LA?
Ooh.
This is probably going to launch around that time.
In a week?
Yeah.
Hot takes about Coffee Fest.
Hot take about Coffee Fest LA specifically.
This one, the one that's coming up.
I can't see it for the trade show, but for Latte Art.
Or, yeah.
Yeah, World Latte Art Championship.
Just because you do a Rosetta doesn't mean that you're going to win your round.
Dude,
That's a
that's
hot
so
take.
facts.
I mean,
That's a
I
hot
think
take.
people definitely like read the competitor too much, and they try and beat their design with the design.
yeah.
Don't do that.
Mm.
Like, just pour what you think is best. I
Yeah.
mean,
What you're good
we've
at,
talked about
what
that.
you're best at.
Yeah,
Yeah.
pour what you're best at. I
Yep.
mean, and also, aesthetics are so dumb.
What
like,
does that
play
mean?
the point. Play the points.
Oh, yeah.
Play the
point
points.
system.
Okay.
Just because
It's a
it's
game.
aesthetic, it's a game, right?
Yeah.
Just because it's aesthetically better than your competitor
Bro,
doesn't
he said
mean you
he said a
win.
couple words.
I know, but that's.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, that may be a hot take for some people. I think that makes sense.
I've
where
just
we're
heard
competing.
so
We're
many
playing a
people
game.
be like, "Oh my God, the Rosettas are gonna win," and I'm like, "It's because
Is it
the
because of
Rosettas are
Antoine?
executed." Huh?
Is it because of the judges?
Who's Antoine?
I mean,
My fault.
okay, was that too much of a hot take? Should we
No,
just skim over
I
that
think I think the whole Antoine and like
Whoa.
the Rosetta Revolution, if you will.
one? Yeah, that's what I'm
Like,
yeah,
I
exactly.
think people are too emotional in that conversation.
Yeah.
I think people are too emotional. I think people put a target on Antoine's head for no reason.
No reason. I agree. Yeah.
And also, I think Rosetta Revolution has just been popularized. It wasn't started in the
Yeah.
last 3 years.
Well, going back to let's say this, the fact that we just said listen to understand and listen to react. I am sure that they have a reason, and I think that as long as there's an open bridge for communication, I think that the people that are upset with Antoine should be having conversations with Antoine and not just shit talking on online.
Of course.
Because
yeah,
if you have the
the-
conversation, then we can understand each other. That's all
Yeah.
I'm saying. Yeah.
the
Yeah,
online
I mean,
bullying is too
for
much.
me, it's like one, Antoine, Matty Bolchi, and Alex Schroeder have been like one of the greatest influencers in wanting to pour like them.
yeah.
Like I don't, obviously, but they've influenced me in my latte art style a lot. So maybe, one day I can get that good as them. So that's why I'm referring to Antoine like that, always from a positive frame of reference.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Cool. Well, outside of that, how can we stay in touch with you guys? How can listeners stay in touch with you guys? I
Do
know
you do that?
IG.
I don't even know my IG handle. I think it's Kenji with
You
two
can
eyes.
find Ken at Lane K Tanaka.
No,
on
that's
Instagram.
he always tags me my wrong Instagram. You tag my Finsta. Anytime he tags me,
Well, now the world knows your
it's
Finsta.
There it is,
Kenji.
yeah.
It's Kenji with two eyes, and I think it's period Tanaka. I think that's what it is.
And
People reference me
Can
for
I put
a
my email?
send me emails.
Yeah, send me emails.
Yeah.
People
Compliment
reference
me in
me,
the morning.
as Aloha, so my Instagram is Aloha Tanaka.
Yeah, totally.
And then,
Kohiko.
Yeah, Kohiko Coffee House,
Yeah.
all one word,
Yeah, visit Kohiko if you're in Houston.
in Houston, for sure.
if you want to.
Well, dudes, what a conversation. Like I said, we can keep going. Thank you so much for being present with us on the podcast. Mark, do you want to do the benediction, the closing?
Mark hasn't said much.
Mark's been listening, like a good listener, right?
There it is, folks. Reflect what's good.
Yeah. Heck yeah. Thank you.
Thank you for having us. Appreciate it.
Sick.